Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. I'm Coach Coons along with Coach Porter and Coach Cart. On January 5th, we hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And now if you haven't headed back to school, you're probably heading back there this week. But Coach, we had a great virtual open house. We had a lot of positive information. Been getting inundated with some calls. We're going to look to do another one, but why don't you give your take on that and anything else about baseball, softball?
Yeah, I hope everyone had a great Christmas, a happy New Year, and I always love this time of year because it kind of feels like the ball's getting rolling a little bit, for baseball, in softball, the season's coming. If you're a college coaches are down to their last couple of days before the ABCA. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but it's coming fast. So, just keep working hard. Make sure that I think something that's really, really important this time of year is getting your legs going and getting your arm going. Okay. Move those legs. I know guys are lifting a lot, but make sure you're running, make sure you're doing agilities, get your legs going, get on that on ramp or that consistent throwing program. But yeah, back to Coach Coons's original thought about the virtual open house. I thought it was great. We were able to talk through a lot of I'm not going to call it behind the scenes things that college coaches think about or that goes into it, but we were able to give them insight and answer questions from people that have had their boots on the ground in the game, and I think that helps a lot, and that they didn't know. There's what you see on TV and on X and on TikTok and on Instagram and what people tell you, and then there's actually what really goes on, and all the pieces that go with this. So I thought it was really good. I thought there were a lot of really good questions. Thought we got to talk a lot about our company and what we're about, and I think that's important. And looking forward to doing it again soon.
Coach Cart, how'd you think it
Yeah,
was?
absolutely. So I mean, most beneficial thing for me throughout the open house, we really got to emphasize our process, right? And our process is really important for, young student athletes and getting to understand what that process is going to be and those steps that are needed, those boxes that they need to check, early in the stages. I know we're talking to 28s and 29s. It's really important that we get that process started. We might not have to check all the boxes this month or, even in 2026, but we have to get that started. We have to get that plan underway. One of the things that I like to say, we measure what matters. Coach Porter was talking about getting our legs started, getting our arms started as we get into January. What are the measurements? What are we looking like from a baseline perspective? What strides do we want to make? When do we want to hit a certain number? What's that number look like in March? What's that number look like in June? So I think just the process and the orientation around that process, and each one's different for every student athlete. I mean, for every single baseball player, softball player, it's different. Your process is different than everyone else's. So really, really having the opportunity to customize that with each player, that's our wheelhouse. That's what we pride ourselves in. So just enjoyed that portion and being able to do it with the individuals that we had on the open house and hopefully look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, I think, I've been receiving a lot of DMs. Are we going to do it again? People heard about it. They want to come on it, the whole thing. I had a couple that asked me, how do you do what you do for the prices you do it? And I said, that's just what we do. It's we're here to help the athletes. And I think that's the big thing, and Coach Porter said, I mean, it's a time now you're going back to school. Make sure your schedules are in order. You're taking the right stuff. colleges start practice, I believe, the 12th of January, and that season will be underway. So it's, everything is right around the corner. And the thing you want to keep in mind, once college coaches start practicing, it gets tougher and tougher for them to get out to see you because they're concerned with their own team and their own job at that point. And that's where we come into play with that because we always have access to those coaches. And, I think that's a big thing. But, with the start of baseball comes, Coach, you had mentioned it, the ABCA for Baseball Coaches Convention. That's up in your neck of the woods this year. I don't know how the weather is up there. I know it was almost 70 degrees here today. So
it's a cool 50. I mean, it's deceiving, right? You're outside and, don't get me wrong. If, there's a chill in the air still. But it's exciting because, our team, we're going to be outside tomorrow, actually doing we were talking about testing. Coach Cart talks about measure what matters, and we're going to be doing some speed and agility testing and, doing some catch play and stuff like that outside. So that's exciting for us. But the ABCA, the American Baseball Coaches Association, this clinic really kicks off, the season if you're a baseball coach. Now, there's baseball. Don't get me wrong. There's baseball coaches out there that have no idea what that is, but I would encourage everybody to be a part of that. But it's kind of the unofficial start of the season because those coaches, they'll be perfect. There'll be MLB managers there, MLB staff, minor league coaches, Power Four coaches, all the way down to little league coaches there. And you're talking thousands of people. Maybe 7,000? Is that? It's
Every bit
how
of
many?
it.
Every bit of 7,000. And it's
Just
the
coaches.
unofficial start of the year. And coaches, when coaches leave on Saturday or Sunday, they'll be starting practice, Monday. Well, our NAIA guys, from our program, our NAIA, we have two NAIA guys, actually three, who play in some pretty good programs. They start practice on Thursday evening. They start practice. So it's important, especially with the fact that you also have to remember this, players, that college baseball, college softball, even in the northern schools now, are starting, February 1st, January 30th. The NAI, you can start like the third week of January. I know some teams up here are starting January 30th, when the NCAA allows them. So it's early. Baseball, they say it's a spring sport. It's really a winter sport. I don't care what anybody says. It's a winter sport. I mean, just when the weather starts getting better, it's over. But and that's a difference between college and high school, right? So if you're somebody in the mid-Atlantic or not even the Northeast, a lot of the northeastern states, I have a buddy that's a head coach at a school in Connecticut, and his tryouts are like 3 weeks after our first practice. And even coaching in Ohio, where we are now, they push back our season, so our postseason play doesn't start till the end of May. So, my point is the season's earlier in college too. And you're going to have to, unless you're in Florida, Arizona, California, to be honest with you, you're going to have to fight through the elements a lot because it does get cold in Texas sometimes, especially North Texas. It gets cold in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. So and definitely, New Mexico and stuff like that. So it's good. It's good. You think you're going south to play in North Carolina. Well, it gets cold in North Carolina. I can tell you that right now. Not a whole lot different from our weather right here where we're at and where I'm at in West Virginia. But anyway, a lot of things to think about.
And I think the thing too, like you made a good point. If you want to see some good ball, whether it's softball or baseball, I was just looking at Stetson University's schedule. February 12th they open. Minnesota's coming down there to play. Then Ball State the next day. St. John's the next. So you're getting these Midwest and Northern schools who may not be able to handle that element coming to Florida or coming to Georgia or wherever to get those games in. So that February, beginning of March time, if you're going to go out and see a team play that you might be thinking of, just check their schedule early, especially if you live in the South, because they may be coming down here to see you.
Yeah, I mean, even like right here, Marshall will play at home in February.
Right.
I'm not sure about West Virginia. Maybe towards the end, but Marshall will definitely play at home in February. We're kind of in that zone here where sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. If you have turf, you can play for sure. You'll catch a decent day here and there, but anyway. The season it's weird in college. The season's gotten earlier and earlier and earlier, and they seem to have pushed high school back just a little bit, which I think's great. Playing in good weather's beneficial to everybody, including pitchers who maybe don't 100% understand everything that goes into arm care and the conditioning piece, especially if they don't have someone breathing down their neck on it. And I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. Those cold games can be cold, harmful to younger guys.
Well, you got to pace yourself. That's the big thing, Coach Cart. You can't go out there and expect to throw 90 pitches on day one if the weather's as it is. And it's, that opens up your avenue where people should be coming in there to work out and do these things right now.
Yeah, ramp is really important for young pitchers right now. Coming off of really what we like to consider a dead period of December, the ramp is extremely important as we go into the first few weeks here. Consistency, if you're not, you want to make sure that your ramp is probably at least throwing 2 times a week, if not 3. And I would only do high intent maybe once that week and low volume amounts. And so the other thing that's exciting is, like Coach mentioned, ABCA coming up. We get to go and listen to how the different Major League Baseball organizations are handling arm care. We're going to listen to how all the major colleges are handling arm care. And what's reassuring, at least for me, and I know probably Coach Porter feels the same way, is we listen to some of the philosophies that we do, and so it's reassuring for us that a Division I program takes the same path that we do, and so we do the same thing for a lot of our high school guys and a lot of the guys that we train. I know, being around Coach Porter and being at this event with him, I mean, Coach knows everybody. We walk into the main ballroom, and Coach, I don't know how many guys, if I remember correctly, because you ran into one coach that we knew, and I mean, it was just like a domino effect. We kept running into guys that throughout the college ranks, and it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to reminisce on the good old days, and then also, Coach talks about their recruiting strategy and how they're getting guys and what it's like to deal with the transfer portal. And so I mean, Coach, how many guys there was one period last year where you ran into, I mean, I felt like we were talking to every person in that door because you knew them, or you either played against them as a coach or you recruited someone from their junior college or something of that nature.
It's a big country, but baseball's a small world. I mean, you cross paths with a lot of people, and I don't think that players recognize the benefit of meeting people, right?
Right.
Seriously, and meeting people and talking to people. And there's two cool things. One about recruiting was we sold a recruit to a coach on the floor at the ABCA last year because we ran into a coach where one of our players had visited and sold him, and that's really cool. So, and the last thing is this is a different thing. So you were talking about our high school coaching staff. You're gonna think this is really cool. So we have we have um we have 6 guys on our high school staff. Okay. 2 of the 6 have played in a college World Series. 3 of the 6 have played in an NCAA regional. 4 of the 6 have either played or coached in an NCAA regional, right? 5 of the 6, I guess we have some, 5 of the 6 played college baseball,
Yep.
right? And the other 2 should have. One for sure should have. The other one decided to go, to the Army, which is outstanding.
Yep.
But that's really, really cool. But they're both left-handed pitchers. But he was getting love. We were at a tournament. Guys like, I want him. He's just a thumber, So anyway, really cool. Just some good stuff there. But I don't know why that popped into my mind, but we were talking about that. But relationships are really important. Coach Coons will tell you that more than anybody. Your relationships are really important. You never, the whole adage of you never, you want to treat people how you want to be treated, right? Well,
Right.
not all the time in this game does that happen, because I haven't agreed with every single coach I've ever coached against, right? But if you do things right, you develop a respect for them, right? And you develop a relationship and you reminisce, and next thing you know, you know, and the same goes with the player. The coach sees how you play the game. They respect how you play the game. Well, you never know where that coach may end up, and you never know what college coach may talk to that coach and say, "What do you think about, Billy Smith? Well, he's a great kid. He works hard, blah, blah, blah. We had him at, 87, 88. He's got a, you know, 12-6 hammer, blah, blah, blah. He can help you." Oh, thanks. Opposing coaches are important.
The more you talk to people, the more relationships you build, your name will get out there. Because I've had that happen to me too. I've gone to talk to coaches that I know, have told them about kids. They've introduced me to coaches I didn't know. And they said, "Hey, have you got this?" Absolutely, we do. So it's a cycle, and after coaching for 31 years at that level, I'm going to speak the old terms. If I had a Rolodex, one would not be enough. I have a whole desk of Rolodex going across with all the contacts that I have in store. And I think that's a valuable asset. But we'll keep it short tonight. We'll get together as a group here, the 3 of us. We will set up another virtual meeting. Shoot for the end of January. We'll let you know that. But if you are interested in being on that, no commitment, no nothing. Bring your questions. It could last 15 minutes. It could last an hour and a half. Whatever you come with, we are here to help athletes. And if you're interested in participating in that, DM or email one of us with your email, obviously, and we will get you an invite once we know. We'll have another podcast prior to that to announce it. But like I say, the people that we had the last time and the people who want to get in, it's all going to be double or triple the size, just for the simple reason that it's some good stuff. But coaches, anything in closing?
No.
I don't think
Have
so.
a great week.
Yep.
Enjoy back to school. We hope Santa brought you everything that you had asked for, and get in the gym and keep working. Until then, we'll see you on the next podcast, and we'll have that announced on Twitter or X for you.